Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. I want to talk about fart coins, but before I do, I have a very serious topic to discuss. Why do meme coins have value in general? It has value because owning it and discussing it usually mean that you belong to a community which provides value, and also anything that becomes a cultural phenomenon and becomes an important part of somebody's lives have value. Anything that can be bought or can be sold has value that is being assigned to it. We live in a world of abundance. Art is valuable, literature is valuable, celebrities are valuable. All times, weird fetishes and fantasies are also valuable. Value is truly in the eye of the beholder. And even weird posts, such as this one here by the Long Investor, on Neo that has thousands, tens of thousands of views actually, and hundreds of likes. And this weird pet tie story with Cantonese Cat's neighbor, also getting tens of thousands of views and hundreds of likes. A very silly, poorly drawn avatar can be a representation of an account on X with tens of thousands of followers. And yes, this is the face of charting and technical analysis on X. This thing right here. Now, liquidity continues to rush in, and they have been printing money in the exponential rate for decades. When liquidity increases, we have overflow and we have excess. This excess has to go somewhere, usually going somewhere speculative or puts value into something that normally would not have been thought of as valuable and becomes valuable. For example, the NFT craze that has brought many people into financial ruins and also have caused these kinds of things here to be bought for hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's wine that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars just for being rare. The idea of Britney Spears' virginity that ended up selling millions of records worldwide, which is just absolutely bizarre because she really has lost it at the age of 14, and also salted fish eggs that cost tens of thousands of dollars that don't necessarily taste good and isn't exactly good for your health either. But I digress. Why Fartcoin? In 2020, 2021, Dogecoin was funny. It brought joy to many, a strong community, and it was this huge social phenomenon that lots of memes have come up from it, lots of discussions have happened around it, and it created tremendous value for the community. Similar to Star Wars, where you can have multiple spin-offs, some of which are profitable, some are not. Doge also has multiple spin-offs, including Shiba, including Blanc. But the issue with that is that they're just simply not as hot as they were anymore. Is getting less exciting because even though Dogecoin is still a huge part of the meme community, people are starting to get bored with it. You need spin-offs like Shiba, spin-off like Dog with Hat, and you also are broadening to other memes as well, to frogs as well as cats. And all these reboots of animal meme coins and character meme coins over and over again. Now, all of this is fun and all, but this is also followed by the next generation meme coin, which is also just absolutely brilliant. The one here is Buttcoin. And I think the Buttcoin idea is just absolutely awesome. It's marketed as the next Bitcoin. And you have no idea how many times I try posting about Bitcoin and end up mistyping Buttcoin just because the letter I is right next to the letter U on the keyboard. And I can relate to Buttcoin because I've so many times I've accidentally typed Buttcoin when I was trying to make a post on X. So I thought that this whole idea about Buttcoin is just absolutely amazing. The only problem with Buttcoin is that it's hard for it to catch on because everybody has a butt, and everybody admits having a butt. It's not particularly provocative just because it's kind of cute. That's when the brilliance of Fartcoin comes in. Fartcoin's brilliance comes from the fact that nobody admits that they fart. It's vulgar, it's silly, it's potentially dangerous, and it's also ubiquitous. Everybody farts. It fits the whole meme coin community perfectly because what can top a dog coin? It's not frogs, it's not cats, it's not hats, is farts. And which is funny in 2025? Is it Dogecoin to the moon or is it Fartcoin to the moon? What is funnier in 2025? Is it do you have enough Dogecoin or do you have enough Fartcoin? These concepts have also permeated into price action as well, as you can see that overall Fartcoin has really formed big giant cup here with a nice handle over here. And the handle right now is inside the golden pocket between the log fib of 0.618 and 0.786. It bounced off of the 0.618 here today pretty decently. This is a daily chart of Fartcoin, big giant round the bottom with a very nice handle. Got rejected here as expected at 0.786, and it's building up more energy to try to push through, right? This chart over here looks very similar to a very, very beloved stock here called Oscar Health, where it's also been forming a big giant cup over here. This is a monthly chart, but a very, very similar concept. Trying to break through 0.786 here, not able to, came back down to 0.618, building a very, very nice base. And right now it looks like it wants to challenge 0.786 here again. Maybe that's what Fartcoin is trying to do. Those two charts look very, very similar. Another chart also looked very similar before its breakout was pound. Here you see how it formed a big giant cup over here with a very, very nice hand over here. And it got rejected close to 0.786, right? Once it got past the 0.786, you got a very, very parabolic run up here, which could happen to Oscar, which could also happen to Fartcoin here in a little bit. You also look at the daily Ichimoku cloud. You can also see how it broke through the daily Ichimoku cloud and already backtested the daily Ichimoku cloud bottom here twice, right? You can see how Fartcoin actually follows the Ichimoku cloud bottom over here very, very nicely, no pun intended, and also follow the bottom over here very nicely as well. Could this be an area where we would bounce off and go higher? It is possible. Look at a 3-day chart here for Fartcoin. You can also see that it's holding the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud here pretty well after breaking through inside of it. Got rejected here from the top, right? It's just stuck in a range over here. But you also find support at the bottom of the cloud. Also find support here at the kitchen. It's just range bound. It's building up energy right around the 0.786. It looks like it could end up building up more power to push through. On top of all that, right now you got a little bit of, on the 3-day chart here, a little bit of a rising 3 methods where you have a big giant green candle over here with 3 lesser red candles over here, not really able to significantly break down through this green candle over here after 3 candles. So usually when these things happen, bears sniff out the bulls, bulls sniff out the bears, and they're not able to push through and reverse this bullish candle over here. Next thing you know, usually bullishness happens. And if it does, then it could end up pushing above the cloud and ends up going higher. On the weekly chart, you can see it's above the weekly 20-week moving average, still looking pretty decent here. On the monthly, you can see how you have this big giant green candle over here, and you have 2 lesser red candles over here that are inside candles to this. This is just basically consolidating sideways over here. The trend is still bullish. Inside candle means that it's consolidating. It means that the next thing is going to end up being further bullish continuation whenever it's done consolidating. If you're also looking at other comparisons, you're looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not really been performing nearly as well as as Fartcoin, because you can see how it's going down to the lower fib levels down here below. If you also compare it to Doge, it's also gone down to some of the lower levels down here below. It's not as bullish as what Fartcoin is doing in terms of its cup and handle and how it's holding a golden pocket between 0.618 and 0.786. It's looking like it's pretty decent here. If you zoom out here to really take a look at from the start of the history of Fartcoin that I have available, to the top here, you can see how it is basically ranging not just at the 0.786, it's actually found support here, 0.786 after breakout, right? It's back tested already, and rather than just trying to break above the 0.886 over here, once you break above 0.886, usually some all-time high stuff happens, right? If we end up breaking down to 0.786, then it could go to 0.618. All these things are possible. Now you're talking about Fartcoin, these things are extremely volatile, but it's still holding support, is still basically range bound right now. And if it gets down to 0.786, if it gets down to 89 cents, I might try to buy more. It is speculative. I'm not going to try to buy that much of it, but it looks like it's just range bound, and it would be nice if it ends up going to the bottom of the range here, and that might be another area to consider adding some to it. I hope we got to the bottom of this, and thank you so much for listening to this Fartcoin video. I want you to always do your own research, because you shouldn't listen to anything that this cat here is saying, because this avatar is just poorly drawn and the entire idea is just absolutely ridiculous. But thank you so much for listening anyway, guys. Have a good one. Bye.